Bleach 573 prediction. Okay, I'm gonna quit trying to do a guy voice, but some of you guys who look at the Naruto manga, you better hop over there right now if you love Guy. I'm not gonna say anything else, but if you love Guy, you better start looking at some Naruto if you haven't seen the recent Naruto chapter. But anyway, let's get on to this week's Bleach chapter because I haven't done a Bleach prediction in quite a while actually. But one thing I have to say before I get started talking about this week's chapter, I've got to talk about the previous chapters of Bleach that I missed. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm not going to stay on it long. All I have to say is Rukia got a Bankai. What can you say? Everybody was talking crap about Rukia. I should have reviewed it while it was going on, man. I mean, I've been really busy lately, but I should have reviewed that because honestly, when Rukia went Bankai, I just was clapping it up, man. I was clapping it up. I was so happy to see it. He was like my girl, man. Everybody liked to crap on her all the time. Say she wasn't good. Say, oh, she's not that useful. Wanted to give her the Orihime treatment, the Chad treatment. But no, she showed everybody. She showed everybody up. She showed she was a top tier character. She may have got flustered a little bit, and the middle of her fight. But when she showed off her Bankai, that fight ended quick, and Byakuya himself even said, that's an unforgiving Bankai. It just shows. Rukia is nobody to play with. You don't mess around with Rukia Kuchiki, because she's about that level. She's the truth. She's the awesomeness. Okay, that's enough with me trying to rub it into all Rukia's haters' faces, man, about Rukia. Let's talk about what happened last week in Bleach, and then talk about what happened this week. Okay, now we already know Yachiru, the little girl that's on Kenpachi's back. Of course, for the last week we finally got to see her fight, which at first I wasn't really that excited to see it. I mean, like, you know what? I wanted to see Yoruichi. I mean, like, Yoruichi, no, Yachiru. Their names sound very similar to me, but I wanted to see Yachiru actually have a chance to be able to actually fight, to a degree, because I knew she had to have some strength. After all, she's kind of like Kenpachi's daughter. I don't think Kenpachi would raise anybody to be weak. And, she's a vice captain, so, okay, she has to be obviously strong enough to where, she'd have that rank. Although I still would argue after seeing her Zanpakuto, I think Ikkaku is the stronger one. I think he should have that position rather than her. But then again, they don't know about his Bankai. Anyway, after we see, of course, Yachiru, she starts fighting against Stern letter V, or who we think is V. He has this ability where he can teleport in and out. And then after we saw him use that ability, she shows her Zanpakuto, which is supposed to be like the copycat Zanpakuto. And these two spirits appear, and she goes for a slice, and he thought he dodged it, but apparently he didn't. And I guess even if you move out of the way of her Zanpakuto, she can still cut you. I guess if those two spirits happen to cut you too, or they happen to swipe at you, so of course, that ended up hurting the guy, because they copy whatever she does, and she also has lightning fast reflexes as well, so she was able to respond to him. So when we carry over into this week's chapter, of course, he's still, he was affected, by what she had done, and it caught her off guard, and then we see in the beginning of this week's chapter, her, basically messing around with her Zanpakuto. She's any movement that she makes, they make. So they truly are the copycat Zanpakuto, that she referred to. So now I have a better understanding from this week's chapter than I did previous week on how her Zanpakuto worked. Now, by the way, I want to actually throw this out here. Not that it really matters, but I actually did do the review for last week. But due to my computer acting crazy, and shutting off on me while I was basically done with the review, obviously, I think I did like a 20-minute review, and then after it was done, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I didn't even feel like doing it over again because my computer shut off in the middle of the recording. Turned on my computer again, that thing was not there anymore. It was gone. So that's what happened with that, because I didn't intend on leaving y'all hanging that long. But anyway, we finally have a better understanding of how her Zanpakuto works, or at least I have a better understanding, because I had a hard time understanding from the previous chapter. And, of course, this Stern Ritter, he's pissed off about it, and she's actually surprised he's not cut in two, because she expected him to be cut in two, the fact that, she went at him pretty hard as far as when she slashed him. So after that, he gets mad, and all of a sudden a piece of his flesh, like, just disappears out of nowhere. And everybody's looking like, the heck, what's going on? and then, he's all of a sudden hollering because apparently, this other guy is in the room. Isai turns around and we see another Stern Ritter. And, this guy, I forgot what his name was. I don't know if they said his name. They may have not said his name. I don't think they did yet. But basically, his power revolves around imagination. And apparently he imagined this guy up. So this guy, he's talking about, basically, you know, don't get rid of me, don't, erase me. I don't remember his exact words verbatim, but that's essentially what he's saying. And, of course, he's saying that, I don't picture a future for you any longer. That you're, no longer needed, and I'm just going to erase you from my memory. So of course this guy, tries to charge at him with the so-called illusion, and then he just pretty much just exploded and disappeared. So that was pretty much the end of that guy. So I don't know if he can imagine people into existence or what, but this new Stern Ritter, his ability is kind of interesting. It seems kind of OP so far though. So, of course, then he proceeds to actually get up, and then Isane, she's all worried. The guy's basically saying, "Oh, don't worry, about them. You know, doesn't matter. They're already dead. I already killed them." So we see the two captains that Isane was healing, the two visors, which we all know as Kensei and Rose. Apparently, they're dead. Which, honestly, I don't like that. If they died, to me, it just makes them look fodderish. Why? Because they already got owned by or they only got owned together as a combo against one Stern Ritter. And then, now keep this in mind, they're supposed to be captains plus they have hollow powers. And then you tell me, and not only that, they're also captains from back in the day. So that also means that they've been at that level for quite a while. But anyway, you tell me, they not only got owned by that guy, but then in their sleep they just randomly just die. This guy imagines them dead. So they're dead. And, I'm hoping that's not the case. I have a feeling maybe it's not, because to me, if he could just imagine people dead, that's a little bit too OP. I mean, even if Ichigo walked in the freaking room, if he imagined Ichigo dead, then Ichigo would be dead. So it can't be that simple. There has to be a trick to his ability, a certain way it works, before things, happen that way. I just couldn't, I can't believe that this is actually how it will work. So I don't know. There has to be some sort of weakness behind that ability. Because if not, then I'd be like, dude, just imagine everybody dead. I mean, you could imagine Juha Bach dead, and dude would be gone. It would just be that simple. Well, Juha Bach may know what's going on. Prior to that, he may not know to get close to that dude if that was the case. But I have a feeling that it's not going to be that easy for, or it's that simple for him to just off people. Because again, that's a little bit too OP. What I mean? Essentially, that means you're like God in a room. Um, what else was I gonna say about that? Oh yeah. So after that particular scene, when we see him talk about both the visors being dead, then he proceeds to get on Yachiru, and of course, then he imagines that her arm is basically, or the bones in her arm is basically like cookies, because as he talks, all this is happening. So I'm assuming that some of this, some of his powers may also revolve around speech as well. So as he talks, and he's talking about her arm, like say to imagine your arm, I imagined your arm to be cookies. And then all of a sudden, her arm goes limp, and he basically breaks her arm. She falls on the ground. He's talking about all the bones in her body basically being like cookies, so she can't do anything. And from that point, that's when we see freaking a wall bust open, and everybody turns around, and guess who it is? It is Kenpachi Zaraki, and basically what he ends up saying is, I felt Yachiru's spiritual pressure get low, and that's why I'm here, because of course that's basically like his little girl, his daughter, sort of, since he named her. So that was pretty much the end of the chapter, with him being the cliffhanger. Now, as for what I think about this chapter, do I think, my rating for this week's chapter, I think it got a lot more interesting than the previous week. So, I don't know. I don't know if I want to give this a vice captain level rating. You know what? No, I'll give it a captain rating. Or do I give this a visor rating? Visor rating kind of, you would think that would be like a high level rating, but shoot, the way the visor's getting crapped on now, I'm like, oh my goodness, man. Y'all look weak. Y'all, shoot, vice captains are doing better than y'all. And Kensei had the nerve to talk about Hisage getting his butt whooped like 10 chapters ago. But anyway, the pacing throughout the chapter, I thought, was, we mainly just I don't know. I mean, I guess you focused on what it was supposed to focus on, and the cliffhanger felt right. I feel like we got the right amount of information that we needed for this week's chapter because we got a new introduction of a character, that we didn't know about before. We got sort of a plot twist. We even got somewhat of an understanding of his abilities, or at least, know sort of what his abilities do. We possibly may have got character deaths, which if we did, you know what? If they're actually dead for now, I'm gonna give it a. I'm not giving it a high rating because to me, I feel like that's not good for their characters. Because I mean, there's no reason why they should look so bad. I understand this is war and that people die, things happen, but I'm thinking like, okay, but I mean, captains to die like fodder though. I mean, they already got the fodder treatment. I mean, come on now, it shouldn't have been that bad, where they just died in their sleep. I mean, shoot. I don't know. I mean, that's almost as bad as like if freaking Renji took a nap next week and then all of a sudden, you hear Rukia say, "Oh, Renji's dead." Like the heck? I mean, where is this coming from? You get what I'm trying to say? So I don't know. I don't feel like characters should die in that way, or at least there should have been something. I don't know to like some kind of other way it happened. If it was going to happen in that way, rather than like literally just within one panel. Oh yeah, they're dead. Like literally, that's all he said was they're dead. And it's just like where is this coming from? So anyway, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna give this a. I'm gonna give it a captain level right now. The reason why I'm bouncing back and forth between vice captain and visor is because, on one hand, Kenpachi made an appearance, but then the visor thing kind of holds me back a little bit, And we got an explanation of ability, so I don't. I mean, I don't want to just keep it to vice captain. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm just gonna make it a captain level chapter. It's gonna be captain level rating for this week's chapter of Bleach. Now, what I think is going to happen next week, well, I actually have a feeling that may not actually be Kenpachi. And I thought this when I looked at the chapter because if this guy's powers are revolved around imagination, per se, then isn't it possible that Yachiru could have just imagined Kenpachi coming into the room, making an appearance, debuting himself there, because of course he doesn't want her to get hurt or whatnot. So maybe other people have somewhat of a influence over that dimension as well when they're residing in it or if they know what's going on. It's not just a one-sided thing, which would make sense for him to make an appearance. Not only another reason why I thought that could be a possibility is because, I don't know, for some reason I thought Kenpachi may get like sort of a, somewhat of a excuse me, somewhat of a, like an outfit change coming back. I'm not saying he did, but I'm not saying that it's actually necessary, but I also noticed he's wearing the eye patch too, and I wasn't necessarily sure if he'd be wearing the eye patch again after he got his Zanpakuto. Now, I'm not saying it's not him. It could be him. But, I feel like that's remained to be seen, considering that this guy's powers work around imagination. Yachiru is a kid, and Kenpachi's always been there for her, so it is a possibility that she could have just imagined Kenpachi to come in. Even if the wall of the room did bust open, I mean, it's not like his imagination, I mean, apparently if Kensei and Rose really are dead, then I don't think it's out of question for freaking somebody to come through busting through a wall within the area that this guy's power works in. So I think that's what actually happened. I don't know. I just didn't expect Kenpachi to already be there. I mean, if he is, hey, I'm excited. I want to see what he can do. And one thing I know about Kenpachi is that he hates playing games. Oh my goodness, we all know he hates fighting people who plays games who want have all these tricks up their sleeve. I mean, look at Tosin. I mean, he could not stand that when he used his Bankai and he had to figure out how to handle this and take it and all that. And it's kind of funny he ends up getting these guys all the time who want to fight him who have these tricks. And you have Tosin, you have the Fullbringer with the time ability, and he's just like, oh, come on, man, this is boring. I can't stand this. He wants hack and slash fights. So we'll see what happens with it. If it's Kenpachi, like I said, he's going to be pretty annoyed. And on top of that, Yachiru's hurt. So, oh no, Kenpachi is going to be up to here. Now, do I think that if it actually ends up being him, I don't think that I don't think that he's actually gonna show off his Shikai just quite yet. He may show it off in this fight, but I don't think it's gonna be in next week's chapter. I think next week, he may take him like it may look like he took Kenpachi off guard. He's gonna look like he's gonna mess him up. Why? Because that's usually how Kubo likes to do things. So I think it's probably gonna be. He's probably going to pull a lot of tricks up his sleeve, probably create a lot of crazy things to take on Kenpachi, and and Kenpachi's probably going to have a surprise expression on his face, and then all of a sudden just be like, yeah, this is nothing to me. You don't know about my training. What up? What you gonna do? Let me show you my Shikai. Let's get out of here. And you don't mess with freaking Yachiru and probably just cut this dude up. So I don't picture it lasting more than 2 chapters, if that. But I think it's gonna end with a cliffhanger. Him maybe looking surprised, but not really being surprised because it's Kenpachi. It's gonna be a quick fight. It's not gonna be long. Um, but anyway, let me know what your thoughts on this week's chapter. What do you expect is going to happen next week? Did you enjoy this week's chapter to begin with? Do you actually think that that is really Kenpachi? I don't really think so, but if it is, you already know my thought. If it's not, I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go. I mean, it may actually be able to do something as far as, if it's not Kenpachi, still be able to fight. It just may have its limits to what Rashidu can remember. And maybe just assist her out in battle or maybe root her on in some type of way. I don't know, but I don't think that it is actually Kenpachi, but if it is, then you already know my thoughts as far as where things are going to lead to after this. But these are my whole thoughts on the chapter. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Don't forget to rate this video. So if you actually did like this prediction, then thumb it up. Help me out a little bit. And if you didn't, then you can feel free to thumb it down. Choice is yours, guys. Also, apologize for not putting any videos the past couple weeks. And like I said, I did plan on putting out one last week, and I actually recorded one. My computer acted crazy, though, but no excuses. As a reviewer, I have a job to be able to get things out to my subscribers, even though I fail at that most times, at least in recent months. I'm going to try to make a better practice of that at some point where I start putting out a lot more content and start putting it out how I used to put out, like probably like a year ago. I used to pump out content a lot more often. So, anyway, this is from Game on Cloud 9. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and that's pretty much it.